they are divided by what we call terminal sulcus. So this groove is called terminal sulcus, divides the body from the root. In the root, you'll find what we call lingual tonsils. So these are the lingual tonsils, students. Lingual tonsils here, lingual tonsils are here, these ones. If you open this tongue, these are the lingual tonsils. So they are here. Is that clear to everybody? Lingual tonsils. But when you close it, so these are the lingual tonsils. They are in the root or at the base of the tongue. Now, as I told you, root and body are divided by the terminal sulcus. You have a V-shaped elevations. These elevations, or like small ridges, you call them what? Vellate or circumvallate papillae. So there's a vellate or circumvallate papillae that they contain most of the taste buds. Most taste buds are present in these. You have three papillae that they contain taste buds. Do you remember them? Vellate, foliate, and the fungi form. So fungiform. All these papillae, they contain these taste buds. Now the filiform papillae, they do not contain taste buds. Only this one does not contain taste buds. This one contains thermoreceptors and mechanoreceptors. So the mechanoreceptors, they feel the texture of the food. They feel the temperature, texture. Thermoreceptors, mechanoreceptors, they contain this one. These ones are more to make the tongue rough in order to manipulate the food. To manipulate the food during chewing, swallowing, so they make the tongue more rough. The rest of the elevations, you call them papillae. Vellate contains, each one of them contains 100 taste buds. I'm doing this just for the written. It's not for the foliate. It contains taste buds in children only. So this contains taste buds in children only. And this one contains few taste buds. So where they are located? The foliates are here on the sides. You see these vertical ridges on the sides, posteriorly, not anteriorly, not here, just in the back. So on the sides, both sides, posteriorly, you will have the foliate papillae. The fungi form are spread all over the body of the tongue. These are the fungi form. The filiform, you can see them. Filiform, you can see them in this model, but you can see the fungi form. These small elevations on the body. Okay. Vellate are the V-shaped structures. They are about 9 to 12 even. 9 to 12 of them are here, making it a V-shaped.
And that's
Okay.
on the back side of the tongue.
So you should know the papillae, that they contain taste buds. You should know the lingual tonsils. You should know the rest of the tonsils, like what? Like pharyngeal and tubal tonsils, pharyngeal tubal in the nasopharynx, and the palatine and lingual tonsils are in the oropharynx. So that's this pharynx here is nasopharynx here, oropharynx, then laryngopharynx, then the esophagus. So you should know the pharynx parts and the tonsils. Then we go to the esophagus. Alondra, can you go and get me please a lung cavity? It's about, it joins or empty into the stomach. So the stomach will come after this. So that's esophagus. It's here. Can everybody see the esophagus?
Esophagus?
The esophagus, yes, esophagus.
Esophagus.
It's behind, it's posterior to the trachea, see? It's here. That's it. That's posterior to the trachea. So the esophagus is here. It goes through the diaphragm and then enters the abdominal cavity. as I told you, 1.5 to 2 centimeters is in the abdominal cavity. The rest in the mediastinum, which is part of the thoracic cavity. And then after the esophagus, we go to the stomach. You know that the stomach has a lesser curvature, a greater curvature. The normal position of the stomach is this way, but mainly on the left. Mainly on the left. Okay. So that's it. The rest of the esophagus is here. Then the stomach. On the lesser curvature, we have the lesser omentum, like this yellow structure. It's called lesser omentum, which anchors the stomach to the liver. On the greater curvature, you will have the greater omentum, and the greater omentum drapes down. It's like a curtain that goes down in front of the small and large intestine. It is like
This one?
not this one, this one. You see how it drapes? They removed it from the side just for illustration. So it drapes in front of the large and small intestine. When this is filled with fat, then what do you call it?
The beer belly?
Yes, the beer belly. Okay. So that's the greater omentum. It's like a curtain, like it drapes in front of the small and large intestine. Okay. So where it comes from the greater curvature of the stomach. On the large intestine, like this colon, you have a mesocolon. You know that the omentum, all the omentum, lesser and greater, is mesentery. It's a double layer of the visceral peritoneum. It's mesentery. So you have mesentery here also in the transverse mesocolon. You call this in transverse colon. Sorry, you call this mesentery transverse mesocolon. Transverse mesocolon. Okay, that's mesentery of the transverse colon, because ascending and descending colon, these two, they don't have mesentery because they are retroperitoneal. So ascending and descending colon are retroperitoneal. The transverse colon, which is this one, and the sigmoid colon are intraperitoneal. So they have mesentery. Like when you find a yellow structure here, you call it transverse mesocolon. If you have a yellow structure here, you call it sigmoid mesocolon. It's here, sigmoid mesocolon. But we don't have a model to show the sigmoid mesocolon. You can see it in your books in the pictures. So the stomach, we're still in the stomach, we did not finish it yet. The stomach is having, the outer layer is serosa, as you know, serosa. After the serosa, it comes muscularis. Muscularis in the stomach is 3 layers, not like the small intestine. In the small intestine, it is just 2 layers. Like in the small intestine, muscularis is just what? Circular. So circular is inner, and longitudinal is what? Is outer. So this outer, inner. That's in the small intestine. In the stomach, you have to add the innermost, and the innermost is oblique layer. So oblique layer would be the innermost layer in the stomach. These two in the small intestine, and they are complete. It means in all the wall. You find them in all the wall. And these two are present in the large intestine, but in the large intestine, this one is complete, like in the colon. This one is complete, and this one is incomplete. Incomplete, you call it discontinuous. Discontinuous. So it's not continuous. It's not all around the wall. So this one is discontinuous. It means it is incomplete. I will show it to you when we come to the colon. Let's finish the stomach first. So you have 3 layers. Look at this. When you take this model and you look at it closely, you will see fibers going this way. That's longitudinal. Yeah, that's the outermost layer of the muscularis. Then fibers going this way, these are the circular layer. Then the oblique arc. That's the oblique. So innermost is here, oblique, circular, and longitudinal. So take this one, look at it closely, you will see the different directions of muscle fibers. Okay. Now in the muscularis also you have these nerves. The nerves in the muscularis are called, you remember this, myenteric nerve plexus. You call it myenteric nerve plexus. Plexus, myenteric, that's in the muscularis, nerve plexus. And then you have the submucosal nerve plexus. Submucosal, that's in the submucosa. The submucosal nerve plexus. So remember please these two plexuses. Myenteric means in the muscularis, which is this one, these nerves in the muscularis. Now in the stomach you cannot see submucosa. In this model you can see submucosa. Inside you can see the mucosa. That's mucosa.
Which layer has the nerve plexus?
Submucosa
Okay.
and the muscularis. I'll take this one so that you can see. Okay. Now, which two layers they have muscles? If you are asked which two layers they have muscles, like I told you, which two layers have nerves? Can you tell me which two layers have nerves? Trevor?
The
The
submucosal
And
and
muscularis. This is muscularis. This is submucosa. So these two layers they have nerves. If you are asked which two layers they have muscles, then you should say what? Mucosa and muscularis. In the mucosa you have a muscle called muscularis mucosae. You remember? This muscularis is called muscularis externa. They call it externa to differentiate it from the muscle in the mucosa. The muscle in the mucosa is called muscularis mucosae. So it is specific for the mucosa. When you say muscularis externa, it means the other muscularis. Your book just say muscularis, which is externa, and muscularis mucosae is the one that is in the mucosa. So if you are asked which two layers are having muscles, you should say mucosa and muscularis. And I'm doing some of the review, that's part of your written test. So let's finish the stomach. As I told you, see the serosa is the outermost, then the muscularis, then you should have submucosa, which is not shown, you can see it here. And then you have the mucosa, the innermost layer of the mucosa with the mucosal folds. You call them rugae. Mucosal folds. Okay? Now you should know the regions. Like this region is called cardia. This region above my finger is fundus. So you have where my finger is cardia. It's a very small region. You call it cardia. Above my finger now is fundus. Then from my finger up to the other finger is the body of the stomach. Then from this finger to this finger is the pyloric region. The pyloric region ends at the pyloric orifice, or pylorus. So we call it pylorus or pyloric orifice, the opening. The opening is controlled by this muscle, which is called pyloric sphincter. So pyloric orifice, pyloric sphincter, pyloric region, that's the region, pyloric region, the body, fundus, and cardia. So 4 regions for the stomach. You should know the sphincters, like pyloric sphincter, and the cardiac sphincter, or what we call inferior esophageal sphincter. So this is the inferior esophageal sphincter, or you can call it cardiac sphincter as well. That's between the esophagus and the stomach. Okay? Is that clear? That's about the stomach. Then we go to the
So the polar sphincter allows for
part of the small intestine. The duodenum is a C-shaped structure. It surrounds the head of the pancreas. The pancreas is having head, the body, and the tail. And the tail of the pancreas, as you see, it abuts the spleen. See how it touches the spleen. So you remember that's the head of the pancreas, head, body, and then the tail at the end. That's for the pancreas. Surrounding the head is the duodenum, and the duodenum, you call this smooth area, the first area, the bulb of the duodenum. Then the rest of the duodenum inside has circular folds. Circular folds. These are the speed bumps that they will slow down the flow, and they have the villi, like you have like this. You have circular folds. The folds are shown here. They are part of the mucosa, like the mucosal folds, but they are circular. That's why they call them circular folds, or you can call them in Latin plica circularis. Plica circularis. I need something to erase. So on the circular folds, you have finger-like extensions. The finger-like extensions that are motile, you call them villi. And these villi are made of cells next to each other, of course, the cells, they are touching each other. These cells are the epithelium of the mucosa. And then I will enlarge one of these, like a villus like this. That's a villus. So these are the cells. They are simple columnar epithelium, simple columnar, all of them. What do you call these cells? We call them absorptive cells. Or you can call them enterocytes. Enterocytes. So cells of the small intestine. Between them, there are some goblet cells. This is a goblet cell. A goblet cell is the one that produces the mucus. So producing mucus, and the mucus is alkaline. So if you imagine that you have the epithelium, that's the epithelium. Then you have a space here. The space is connective tissue. This connective tissue, what do you call it? You call it lamina propria. Then you have the muscularis mucosae. They have muscles, muscularis mucosae. So that's the mucosa. Mucosa is 3 layers: epithelium, lamina propria, and muscularis mucosae. So 3 sublayers that they make the mucosa. I will show you these 3 sublayers in the small intestine. But let's finish this part of the duodenum. So the duodenum is part of the small intestine. It is retroperitoneal. The duodenum is retroperitoneal. It means it does not have mesentery because it's not covered with the visceral peritoneum. And you see this main pancreatic duct, the main pancreatic duct, along with the bile duct. They open here in the duodenum in what we call major duodenal papilla. You have something sharp, a pencil. Yeah, thank you. So this is the major duodenal papilla, and this is the minor duodenal papilla. Minor duodenal papilla is the opening of the accessory pancreatic duct. So that's accessory pancreatic duct and the main pancreatic duct. The main will join the bile duct. There's a pancreas here that shows the bile duct as well. Do you have? Can you see a pancreas here on the table? Can you see another pancreas on the table here? Yeah, here.
Then I think
I brought.
find another pancreas.
Yeah. That shows this pancreas, this bile duct in the front. So in the front, with the main pancreatic duct, they open together into what we call major duodenal papilla.
Where's that at?
Major duodenal papilla and the minor, they are here. Major is here and the minor is here. Two openings. The minor is for the accessory pancreatic duct and the major for the main pancreatic duct. Wait, thank you. After the duodenum, of course, jejunum will come, jejunum, then ileum. So ileum is the last portion of the small intestine. What do you call this valve? Look, this is ileum, students. That's ileum. And this is cecum. This portion, that's the first portion of the large intestine, is called cecum. So what do you call this? It's a sphincter. Ileocecal sphincter or ileocecal valve, they call it, yes. So it's called, that's the ileocecal, thank you, Britain. So that's the ileocecal valve or sphincter. It's between the ileum and cecum. So cecum is the first part of the large intestine, then ascending colon. After the ascending colon, there's a flexure. The flexure is a bend, you call it hepatic flexure because it's very close to the liver, or you call it right colic flexure. You can see this here. That's ascending colon. This flexure here is the right colic flexure or hepatic flexure. Then the transverse colon. Then you will have another flexure. You call it splenic because it's very close to the spleen, or the left colic flexure. Then descending colon. Then the sigmoid is removed from here. That's a sigmoid, students. That's sigmoid. So descending colon up to here, then sigmoid colon up to here, then rectum, that's rectum, and then after the rectum, as you can see, anal canal. And the anus is here. So that's anal canal, rectum is here, the sigmoid colon is this curved one, sigmoid colon, and then descending colon, descending. Transverse is this one, that's transverse colon. Is that clear? Ascending colon. You should know the flexures, two flexures. What do you call this one? What? Hepatic flexure. Or, see the position? What is right colic? Now this hand, left colic flexure, okay? There's another flexure that you should know the name of it, is this flexure. Can you see this bend here? That's the end of the duodenum, beginning of jejunum. Jejunum is here, duodenum is here. So what do you call this bend between them? The flexure. What do you call this flexure? Between duodenum, jejunum.
Duodenum flexion.
Very good.
I can't
Yes.
say it, but yeah.
Yes, you can make the name. If you don't know the name, you can make it. Duodenal, jejunal, flexure. So sometimes you don't know the name, you can make it, or explain it, please. Explain it if you don't memorize it, like you forgot it in the test. Explain it. At least I will give you maybe half of the grade if you explain that this is a flexure between duodenum and jejunum. This is a bend. You don't know flexure. You say this is a bend between duodenum and jejunum. Then I can give you at least half of the grade. You know, if you explain things, maybe you forget the name of it, then you explain it. Okay, now after the